MJF is the AEW champion again, and it feels like everything is right with the world. When Max last held the All Elite Wrestling World Championship, it came at a crossroads for the company, at a time where AEW was selling tens of thousands of tickets, at a time where AEW felt like it was at its peak. It also was going through a very tumultuous time with allegations of backstage politics, with the Brawl Out stuff that had just went down, and Max was supposed to represent the future of AEW, a turning of the page, and the reality is that didn't turn out the way they wanted. But now AEW has a chance to redeem that, redeem the MJF character, redeem the entire premise of MJF as a world champion, and I think they are set up for success to do it. When he last held the belt, it truly felt like a culmination of everything that they had worked towards. When AEW launched, Axel Jacob Friedman was pushed as AEW's biggest heel of the future. He was one of the four pillars, but the only one of the four pillars that you thought was ready for prime time. And when he got his chance with his early promos against the likes of Chris Jericho, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and others, you knew that he was a world champion in waiting. And when they finally pulled the trigger, you thought that you were in store for some amazing storytelling, but also the company taking a step forward. But as I said before, backstage controversies held a shadow over the entire company, and in large part, a lot of the distractions of the CM Punk era in AEW acted as a black cloud over Max's first title reign. When people were talking about AEW, they were not talking about MJF, despite the fact that he arguably had one of the greatest Iron Man matches of all time with Bryan Danielson, despite the fact that Max went out there and carried an entire feud with the four pillars, despite the fact that he beat Jon Moxley and had a great angle with William Regal following Full Gear 2022, it didn't matter, because at the end of it, he wasn't the focus. He wasn't the focal point. The focal point wasn't what was happening in the ring, what was happening on the microphone. It is what is happening backstage. But now things are a lot different than they were in 2022 and 2023. You have an environment in AEW that is reportedly a lot better. You have an environment in AEW that is reportedly a lot more supportive. And you have an MJF that has learned from the mistakes of the past, and I think understands now how to better navigate this type of environment. And you combine that with the fact that I don't think that we are going to get the same MJF that we had back in 2023. A character that didn't quite know what to be. He started off as a heel and the biggest heel in wrestling, and then transformed naturally into a top babyface. But looking back at it, it now looks like a departure that was a little too far-fetched for everyone to truly believe. It came across as less of a AEW storyline, the stuff with Adam Cole, while entertaining at times, and while I thought that their match at All In 2023 was a banger main event and had a very heartfelt ending, the storyline just was never bound to have a good conclusion. It was never bound to have a meaningful conclusion. And you combine that with the fact that both dudes ended up getting injured, it just didn't work out. But now I think that MJF is uniquely positioned as a guy who is the biggest scumbag. And he is not our scumbag, but he is the biggest scumbag in all of pro wrestling. And he has come out with a fire and an anger that I don't think he's had prior to this in his career. MJF is not out to prove anything to anyone. He is the only guy to be a world champion in AEW twice prior to the age of 30. He is the best in the world right now on the microphone. He is one of the most underrated in-ring technicians there's ever been. Whenever you think about MJF, the last thing you think about is his wrestling, but he always has consistently great wrestling matches. That has been the weird knock on him his entire career. Just because he's a good promo, people forget that he can wrestle. So when you have all of that and you have an AEW roster that has the likes of young guys like Kyle Fletcher and also veterans like Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page who are established, I think this allows Max to kind of go off in several different directions, with the eventual goal, I think, being Maxwell Jacob Friedman versus Will Ospreay at Wembley All In 2026. A match that would be a repeat and a rematch of the match they had a couple of years ago in Wembley, but a match that this time has the AEW World Championship on the line, and not only that, but the future of the company. For the past couple of years, we have always said that MJF is the future of AEW. Well, that is no longer true. He is not the future of AEW. He is the present. MJF is the star that AEW needs. But Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, all of those young guys that we have been talking about, those are the guys that are AEW's future. So for me, I think that MJF right now has the clear job of being the absolute best that he can be for the next couple of months. And then when the time comes to face off against Will Ospreay, to be the biggest, nastiest heel he's ever been. And so that when he gets in front of that crowd at Wembley Stadium with Will Ospreay on the other side, it will be one of the most raucous crowds, raucous energies, and just insane visuals you will ever see, and in a way redeem the last time MJF main evented a Wembley Stadium show, where he went into that show as a babyface with very little clear direction, but this time going in as the unmistakable heel that we all know him to be, would speak volumes and I think redeem that moment that in retrospect now does not live up to what we expect and what we all have come to know about MJF. But the point is, there's so much that's going to happen over the next couple of months, and for the first time in a while, I feel excited about MJF, like truly excited. And whether or not he lives up to this excitement, I don't know, but hey, I guess we'll see.